Hey everyone, today I'm going to replace the rear brakes on this 2004 Mustang. I'm going to do both sides, but I'm only going to film one. Cat's going to help me. But the reason I'm going to do these brakes is not only because of the pads, but let me show you something else. And the other reason I'm going to do the rear brake pads is because I got this brake light on here, and that will give me the opportunity to check the calipers and see if they are leaking, and if they are, then might be able to get rid of this brake light. But at least the rears will be checked and I'll have new brakes on in any case. I'm going to change the rear brake pad on the driver's side. I already did the passenger side. It's already raised and braced. I just need to get the wheel off and get started. I want to take the parking brake cable loose first. A little C-clip in here keeps it attached. There, that's what that looks like. Now that'll give me maybe a little wobble in the cable. And I want to get hold of this end of it and then press the spring using against the brake line. It's not a happy camper. It does not want to go by there. There we go. Good golly, Miss Molly. Okay. Now the cable's loose, I can take the two caliper pin bolts out. They're 12 millimeter. I believe they're about 26 foot-pounds, 23, 26, not sure. This little metal piece right here will turn on you when you put these back in, and it's a little difficult to, you may have to hold it to get it tightened down. They're just short, stubby bolts. They're not much, but they seem to want to stay in there pretty good. And slide the parking brake out. And you're able to bring it on up. And interesting. Okay, these indentations in this piston assembly should be, when the caliper is on there, should be facing at 3 and 9 o'clock, and they are not. And you can see how this is chewed up. They have to catch in tab on the back of the brake shoe. Right there is a tab, or a little nub. And this is missing the back brake pad, or one of them. I got one there and one gone. And it also looks like it's been leaking. So I'm going to go ahead and order a whole new piston assembly for it. This is how I assemble the tool. These little things go into the slots, and there is a little bit of a magnet Once you get it positioned, it holds itself. Not a very strong magnet, I will tell you. And I slide this piece over the tool. Put this down in here, positions into slots, and back it off, and you're good to turn. A lot of times if you get this too tight, you can't turn this piston, so you got to go a little at a time. Loosen it up. Turn your piston some. It gets easier as you go. I probably should put a little oil on this, but I didn't want to do it because you get dirt in it. Keep an eye on your fluid reservoir, brake reservoir under the hood. As you're pushing this back, it's going to pump the fluid back up into the reservoir and fill it up and maybe overflow it. If you have a mind to, take some fluid out before you even start to do this. Now keep doing this. This piston will go all the way back and flush, as you'll see with the new one that I put on. Anyway, that's that for that. I'm going to take the, I repositioned the caliper so I can get to this banjo bolt that holds the brake line on. It's on at 30 foot-pounds. It is 10 millimeter. And you try and take it loose with the caliper loose, it's pretty stiff, it's pretty difficult, so better to have the caliper remounted. Makes it much easier to break loose. The rebuilt caliper assembly comes with a new bolt and I believe 2 O-rings. Twang. Well, we know it's twisted on there, right? It goes on. Or it goes on like this. I probably had the line twisted myself. Now I'm going to take the caliper bracket bolts loose on the back. One of them is right there at the top. And the other one is down there at the bottom. And these are on at 76 foot-pounds. And they take a 15 millimeter socket to take loose. Book says to replace these with new bolts. And it'll fall off on your toe if you're not careful. And there's what the top bolt looks like. It has some thread sealer on it. The bottom one had some thread sealer on it as well. So that's what I will do. The core and the replacement. I have the bottom bolt in loose. You can see that the bolts thread into the caliper itself, so the caliper goes in front of the axle casing, and the bolt actually goes behind and through and screws into there, and that's why when I pulled the top bolt out it all dropped, because I had the bottom bolt completely out. So I'm going to put some blue thread locker on this bolt, probably a little too much. Now what I want to do is slide that caliper up, find the hole for it, the bolt, Okay, I'm going to snug them both down a little bit. 15 millimeter. See if I can get 76 foot-pounds on. That might be a little extreme, but book says 76 foot-pounds. That's one. Okay, I'm going to take my caliper pin bolts out, then I'm going to put my pads in, and then I'm going to put the brake line back on. There's a difference in shoes, new versus old. These help, these little clips here go on the ends, and they help position the shoe, help it to actually slide in its slot during operation. Made sure I got my shoes in properly. As you remember, this was missing the back one. That can be really a little bit of a bear to play with, get it exactly in there properly, because it is under a little pressure with those little end clips. And now you can see that these little things have to be at 3 and 9 o'clock like they are, the indentations. And they have to hit with that nub right there on the shoe. I mean, on the pad. I'm so used to calling them shoes. It's been a long time. Now what I want to do is put this thing in, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it just snaps in like this. And came with different bolts. I'm going to put a little blue Loctite on each one. Now I'm going to take my piston assembly and I'm going to slide it over. Push my caliper boots. I'm almost positive that they lubricated those. I'm not going to even pull one out and check. Now I got the top one in, but I totally missed the bottom one. Okay. Okay, these new ones take a 14 here. That's what you get when you do the replacements. And they're on at 25 foot-pounds. I heard a click. Next thing I want to do is hook up the brake line, and that would go in right here, and I'll need a new banjo bolt and washer. Literally had to unscrew this washer to get it off. You can tell when things bite you. Okay, there's the factory bolt, which is probably better than the one I'm putting in. Copper gasket on the top side and a copper gasket on the bottom side. Okay, what did I say the torque was on this? This takes a 10 millimeter socket and it calls for a torque of 30 foot-pounds, and that's exactly what I'm going to put on it. Now we'll see if it leaks. What I have to do is add some fluid to the reservoir because it looked like it was pretty low, and then I'm going to have to bleed these brakes on both sides. And then I got to go to the front. But for now, pads, new caliper, which I wasn't expecting, and new pads, I said that. So it's all in. The other side is just like this. I still have to hook up the parking brake cable. I'll do that in a minute. But it goes back the same way it came loose. And I hope your brake repairs go a whole bunch easier than this one was. Seems like every time I turn around, everything fights me on these. But that's just the slump I'm in, I guess. So, till the next video, this is Cars, Trucks, and Detours, aka Steve AZ 711. And like I said, I hope all your repairs go well, and I want to thank you all for watching and subscribing, and until the next video, bye for now.